where Port Adelaide ending up this year?
Holding a Premiership Cup, ideally. I think every team goes into the year expecting that. Probably wasting your time if you don't. It's the expectation of us as players, coaches, all of our supporters. We were close last year, so we're going to start from square one and build to that again this year.
What is it that you've ticked off that pushes you over that little edge?
I don't think there's any one thing. We've had another strong pre-season. We've hopefully fine-tuned the game plan. We've got some good recruits in. We've got some more games into our younger players, and also just more games as a group that hasn't changed much over the last sort of 12 months.
Do you anticipate much change round one from that prelim team? A couple of new boys in, draftee or two around the mark?
There'll be a couple of people that are unlucky throughout the whole year at Port Adelaide if we're playing good footy like we expect to be. So I think, there might be a couple of changes from Noarlunga, blokes that were rested. But it's going to be a strength of ours this year, having good squad depth and being able to rotate when needed and being able to replace blokes that are sore or injured.
Fans love seeing young blokes straight away. They want Lockie Jones, they want Miles Bergman, get them in there. They've seen it once, they love what they saw. Do they get a gig round one, do you reckon, or is there still water to go under that bridge?
Yeah, I love what I saw as well, but I think the fans will be pretty happy as long as we're winning. So it doesn't really matter who's going to be running around, but those boys have put their best foot forward, as have plenty of others, so it's going to be a tough decision for Kenny, and I don't really want any part in it, so I'll leave that to him, and I'll find out on Wednesdays who I'll be running around with on the weekend.
Kenny, what difference has Elliot made? He was super impressive. His presence against Adelaide was enormous. Can you just talk to us about what sort of difference he's made as a bloke around the club and in your back group as well?
Yeah, he's just another great person to get into the footy club because he is a good person and he gives plenty to the boys. He's goes out of his way to break the ice and join in with what we're doing, which has made him fit in really well. And from a footy perspective, he's a great interceptor, and it wasn't like we were giving him opportunities on the weekend. He just finds them naturally, so he can play on someone, and then when he gets an opportunity, he marks the ball and uses it well. So he'll fit in well with our group.
Does that give you confidence when you do tackle some of the bigger forward lines? I mean, you obviously, prelim final, you did a lot right, but you sort of maybe stumbled a little bit against Hawkins during the year. Is that help you deal with the bigger forwards of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. We've always relied on that aerial support, and I think, like I said, he's the one that does it naturally, so that'll definitely help on those taller forwards. So whether it's Klaz or Trent McKenzie, myself, we'll be looking to do that. He's obviously just very good at it naturally.
And how much has that 6-point prelim final loss driven the group over the course of the summer?
Oh yeah, I think we talked about how driven we were last year, but that's just taken it to another level. We can't afford to, stay stagnant and do what we did last year. We've got to find other areas to improve because everyone else is trying to get better and we weren't good enough last year. So that's really driven us over off-season to be even hungrier this year.
Is anything short of a premiership a failure in your eyes then?
Oh look, I think every year you want to win the premiership, and if you're sitting back in the lounge room watching it on grand final day and you're not there, you'd be bloody disappointed. So yeah, we want to be playing in the big game, and that's what we aspire to. So we're competitive athletes, and that's our target.
What did you make of the new man on the mark rule? Rory said he didn't seem to mind it too much, made the game go a bit quicker.
Yeah, it's a tough one as a slow defender like myself, but I think we've adopted it pretty well into our group, and it certainly helps the way we play. We like to take the game on and move it quickly. I think we've had a bit more of a look at it than what the spectators have, so it's going to be an adjustment for them. But if you looked at the game on the weekend, I don't think we actually gave away a 50-metre penalty, so we're defending it pretty well and using it to our advantage reasonably well.
And you're having a few umpires, haven't you, in training? Has that helped you adjust?
Yeah, absolutely. The AFL always send out some umpires for their practice and also for us to get a good gauge of what will and won't be paid and get our head around the new rules.
Yeah, 40,000 fans here as well when you play here at Adelaide Oval. That must be a good feeling after last year's.
Yeah, absolutely. We missed our fans last year, and they obviously mean so much to us, and the footy club's a big part of their lives, so it'd be great to have them back and just have that noise that they create every time we run out.
How do you go with rule changes every year, Tom? Rory mentioned it before, there's not a lot of games in the world that change the rules as often as the AFL does. What do you make of that, changing every single year, changing the game style, the way it's played?
I'm not really sure where I sit on it. Like, I'm a bit of a purist, but at the same time, I understand why they make the changes. I would love to just see it stay as it is for a few years and let people actually work with the changes before making even more changes. But there's people out there that are watching a lot of footy, thinking very seriously about it. So, you know, they get paid to do what they do, so back them in.
Did you have a bit of a chuckle when you saw, obviously, no skipper tip the other mob to make finals and everyone tipped you? There's a little sense of pride in it?
Oh, look, I think it means you won't be catching anyone by surprise this year. Everyone's going to be keeping an eye out and knowing what's coming, and now the ball's in our court and we've got to be prepared to play even harder and be switched on every single week, because there's not going to be any easy games.
When you look at where the two teams are at in their evolution, can you remember a bigger discrepancy in terms of how well one's going compared to how much the other one's struggling?
Tell you what, I've been on the end of some pretty nasty showdown losses, so you know, I don't want to speculate as to where both teams might end up. We obviously feel like we've had a strong pre-season, we've had a couple of good wins against the Crows, but we know that pre-season form traditionally counts for not much.
And a bit of chat about the power was how to earn back league-wide respect in the last couple of years, and obviously last year went a huge way to doing that. What does it say about the way you've led the club, you and Ollie and Hamish and Ken, and the fact that now you are well and truly talked about with the respect that you guys have built?
Yeah, I think that's nice, but at the same time, I want to be a premiership captain. If I don't finish my career having played in a premiership, whether it's as the leader or with someone else in charge, then I won't be satisfied. So that's going to be the ultimate mark, and ultimately you'll be long forgotten if it's Richmond again or Brisbane or Geelong. So it is nice, but I've been very fortunate with the group I've led, and a lot of the credit's got to go to them and to the coaching group.
Ali was excellent in the pre-season match. What does he add to the side?
He's a great interceptor. He's tall and long, and he uses the ball well. He can play on someone, but also naturally finds opportunities to come off and assist in the air.
And what about Orazio? How's he settling in?
Orazio's settled in great. He's another one that's taken a lot of time to really get around the boys and settle in. We've tried to make him feel as welcome as possible, but at the same time he's been great at that. He's one of the blokes that's just going to be a great teammate. He's always trying to help others out, and that goes off the field as well as on the field. And then his footy speaks for itself. He uses the ball well. He's clever. He's good in front of goals, and he's a hard worker.
And then also Connor Rosie. When can we expect to see him again? Had his surgery?
Yeah, so Connor's surgery went to plan. There were no nasty surprises, so we'd be thinking 4 to 5 weeks. But at the same time, he's just going to, take his recovery a week at a time, and hopefully nothing flares up and he's back sooner rather than later. In the meantime, we've got plenty of blokes that can fill his void.
Yeah, the others, something like Hartlett, Marshall, Pepper, Mackenzie, obviously they were the main ones missed the last trial, and they all go for round one.
Yeah, there's a few boys that have a little bit of work to do at the moment, and I suppose this week will be important how Hamish pulls up and how Todd's cheek is and Sam's hand. So we just got to wait and see. And like I said, we have got a lot of great options. If those boys aren't available, we showed that we didn't have them on the weekend, and we still played some really Port Adelaide trademark footy. So there's going to be times during the year where we don't have the exact personnel we'd like to have out there, and we're very confident that we've got others that can come in and fill those voids.
So what are you doing? So you guys have another match sim or match practice? Or?
Yeah, we'll have a pretty strong hit out, but I don't think it'll be as much as an actual match sim.